As you are aware, I mean, as you all know, IIM Indore is in existence for about 15 years now. It has gained a reputation of being a very innovative, rapidly growing institution in the country. There are a number of things that we are trying to do in the institute from a long-term perspective. The first and foremost is we are trying to convert the PGP program as a program with a rigor and an experiential-based learning. This, I think, is the first and foremost major change that we are trying to bring in. The second important change that we are bringing in at IIM Indore is convert a standard MBA program in the context of social sciences setting. This would mean our MBA program would be nurtured and supported by softer skills, including personality development, knowing self, an all-round development of an individual, and possibly issues related to leadership, social sensitivity, etc. So it is no more an MBA program with a focus on how to run organizations. It's an MBA program which enables students to create and sustain and develop organizations in a social context. Now, while this is important, the third mission of IIM Indore is to be a part of the global knowledge network. Now, you cannot be a part of the global knowledge network if you do not have symbiotic relationship with markets which are truly global. Now, obviously, the North American environment would provide you the much needed intellectual global environment. The Southeast Asia, the China, and the Middle East provide the much needed growth opportunities from the trade, commerce point of view in terms of globalization and global networking. It is the third objective that makes us to go to UAE, and we are looking at UAE as an opportunity by which we can learn from the practices of this region. Culturally, it's a very rich region, and commercially, it is fairly stable. It provides excellent connectivity to the rest of the world, and it provides an opportunity to look at the African market eventually. We thought it's a good idea to be present in UAE, even though it's a very competitive market, and develop a frame by which our faculty members can learn from this experience and also create a talent pool which will serve this market. This, I think, fits in the overall globalization plan of the institute. We are very rapidly globalizing the institute in terms of faculty exchanges. We already have a very strong student exchange to several universities in Europe and the USA. We thought a presence in the UAE region would complement our global presence. This, I think, is the primary driver behind starting up a UAE operations of IIM Indore. As you rightly pointed out, we are the first institution to take our regular PGP program to this region, and this, I think, is a very, very innovative and bold initiative. And as you are aware, this is the third year this initiative is going on, and we hope to stabilize it and sustain it as we go along. Yeah, first of all, I think we must recognize as a person who is running education institution, I'm very sensitive to the fact that at the end of the day, students should be meaningfully employed. Now, I think the IIM Indore team and partners of IIM Indore in UAE are sensitized to this very important requirement of the program. Now, this is very different from, what are the things that we can do? As an education institution, we may not be able to underwrite somebody's employment. But what we must ensure, and we will ensure, is the employability of the individual who goes through the program. Now, therefore, it is done at 2 or 3 different levels. The first level that we are trying to do is make sure the program is good and the students learn, and the input is based on an ability to operate in a global environment. So this, I think, is the baseline which will ensure that our students are employable. The second part of the story, I think, which is important, is understand the nuances of the market. Now, in India, the placement happens in a particular way. There are specific time slots. Companies come in. There is a demand-supply dynamics, and the decisions are made somewhat rapidly. And decisions are also taken in a short span of time. And that's how this placement market in India works. This may or may not be applicable in the UAE context. I think the UAE context is like any other international context where job opportunities are identified, and it is a very long drawn yet a decisive process. The employer and the employee would like to meet as many times as possible, discuss, talk about whether there is an alignment, and if they find there is an alignment, the employment opportunity will fructify. I think Dubai model is no exception to this. The Dubai campus is not an exception to this. It will happen in this way. What is the role of the institute? The role of the institute is to ensure that we provide enough context to our students in terms of the industry environment in which we are operating in Dubai. We will broadly do this in 2 or 3 categories. Category 1 is Indian multinationals operating in Dubai. Category 2 is multinationals which are operating in Dubai. Category 3 is large family-owned businesses which are operating or grown out of Dubai. These are the 3 major categories that we need to look at, and we will constantly build a relationship with these companies by a whole range of mechanisms, and work with our partners, work through our partner, and work through our students, and bring as many companies to the campus as possible. Now, this I think is the plan. We are also trying to sort of formalize this. We had recruited a corporate relationship manager. If need be, we'll strengthen this team a little bit more, and we will make the visibility of IIM Indore felt a little bit more in the context of India, in the context of UAE, and that I think will bring the much needed catalyst in the whole process. So I think to summarize, placement, we recognize placement is an important act. It has to be supported, it has to be enabled. That I think is the first part. The second part is the selection of the students with an appropriate mindset will make placement relatively easier. Next point is we recognize the placement process in UAE would be fundamentally different from the placement process in India, and therefore we must be geared up to that. The third point is we had identified categories of companies. We would like to work through these companies in a particular way. The fourth part of the story is we will build adequate infrastructure within the UAE structure, which will constantly seek out relationship between the institute and the corporates, so that the employment seeking opportunity is made very routine, robust, and probably very satisfying. Well, yeah, at the first level, I think this fear is quite, I would say, reasonable for an outsider who does not understand our systems, processes. And this fear is a very meaningful fear, and I think that needs to be addressed, and we would like to address that. The first and foremost thing is the Bombay expansion. We sort of know we don't do things which we can't handle. This is very, very clear. We may do things very rapidly, but we are conscious about the quality that we need to deliver, and therefore we have enough backup mechanism to deal with what we are trying to do. This I think is the first part. Now, how do we ensure the quality of these programs and we make sure these programs are at par? The first and foremost is the program design, delivery, evaluation is as at par with what's happening at IIM Indore. Whether it is a Bombay campus or whether it is a UAE campus, the program design, delivery, evaluation is exactly the same as what happens in Indore campus. In what way the program in Bombay is going to be different? Bombay will evolve as we go along. A program which will specialize in general management, investment banking, and possibly marketing with a special focus on FMCGs. This, I think, how the Bombay MBA will evolve. I think what we expect in the UAE context is it's a very fascinating, dynamic market. It will focus on financial services in a big way. It will focus on consulting in a big way. It will also focus on health services in a big way. It will focus on service delivery, service-oriented operations, manufacturing, and family businesses. I think the Dubai program will clearly focus on family businesses, service businesses, healthcare, infrastructure, manufacturing, financial services, retail. These are the areas which the Dubai campus will focus on as we go along. I think, in our opinion, the GCC market is very rich on these areas. The talent required in these areas is very stable, and we want to contribute to this in a very big way. So, therefore, to summarize, these programs are exactly the same programs of IIM Indore with a local flavor, with a local specialization for these markets. This, I think, is what we are really trying to do. Now, how else we ensure that this program is of good quality? What makes an IIM Indore program of good quality? I think there are three things that go into that. The first one is the merit-based selection of the students. This, I think, is very important. We use the CAT as a parameter to identify the feasible set. Two, try and bring the best faculty that's possible to run the program. Three, rigor in the design, conduct, and delivery of the program. These are the three things that makes the program worthwhile in terms of quality at IIM Indore. Exactly the same thing is happening in Bombay. Exactly the same thing is happening in UAE. Therefore, there should be no fear in the minds of any candidate that this program is inferior. As a matter of fact, these programs are designed and calibrated exactly the same way. So it's the same mother product, customized to some extent to the local market expectations. What kind of an infrastructure is available? Is it best in class? Is it comparable to the infrastructure at IIM Indore? I think this, is a substantive part of the question. Our strategy is to provide the best-in-class infrastructure. Our strategy is to provide an ecosystem which is conducive for learning, and our strategy is to provide that the quality of education is quite acceptable. Now, in different places, we do it differently. At IIM Indore, we have the fortune of owning this infrastructure, developing it on our own, and it is invested from our government money as well as our money. We may or may not want to follow the same model in other locations. In UAE, we have developed partnerships with people who are essentially logistics partners or infrastructure support providers who look after our exacting requirements, whether it is a classroom, whether it is student home, whether there is local transportation. We ensure our sports facilities, we ensure that our partner provides what exactly we need. And by any standard, it is no less than what is available at IIM Indore. Of course, the soil is not Indian soil, it's a foreign soil. And therefore, it has an advantage. The advantages are, it's a shade better than possibly the environment in which we are used to. So I think we are ensuring that we have selected a partner who has the deeper understanding of the market here, who is well ingrained in the environment here, who can provide what we need and what we aspire for. So therefore, by any stretch of imagination, this infrastructure is no less than the infrastructure that we have in India. It is not a residential campus in the real sense of the word, because it is not, I mean, the universities abroad do not necessarily operate on a residential campus model. The academic activities happen in a place, and the students' homes are in a slightly different place, and the faculty homes are in a different place, and there is enough commuting infrastructure that happens, and that's the global model. So the Dubai campus will exactly imitate the global model without compromising the quality standards on infrastructure, whether it is classroom, whether it is living room, whether it is sports facilities, whether it is library, whether it is any other academic infrastructure. This is precisely what is being planned, and we are rolling out this plan. And I'm sure in a year or two, it will stabilize and possibly will be talked about, just as IIM Indore campus is being talked about. Oh, that's an interesting question. First of all, yes, I think it's a good question. Let me try and answer to the best of my ability and understanding. I have seen as a faculty member at Ahmedabad as well as at IIM Indore, at least in Ahmedabad it used to be a lot more, that MBA education is seen as a high quality talent to an individual. So when you receive an MBA qualification or a PGP qualification from some of these top-notch institutions in India, you are better endowed, you are more privileged to kickstart your career in a better way. Now, different people do it differently. Some believe that they have got adequate education, they want to start something on their own, and they become entrepreneurs, they create startups and move ahead, and they have an excellent combination of ability and smartness, hardworking, and risk-taking. And that's one group of people. This number is not very high, but this number is not very low. So I think is one set of people who get this management education in India. The other set of people are, they have this education, they want to launch a career, continue the career, spend the entire career time there, and possibly retire and look at what they could do in life before they go through the entire career cycle. There is a third category of people who use this education to generate a little bit of personal wealth in working in locations like UAE, where the average compensation can be much higher than what they will get in a corresponding position in India. And having created a little bit of their own personal wealth, they start up something on their own and realize their full potential in the Indian context. I think these are the three categories of people that we are looking at. Let's not worry about this program is not meant for people. Well, it can be used, but the primary focus is if you want to be an entrepreneur, Dubai as an environment, UAE as an environment, opens up a whole range of opportunities that are not necessarily available in the context of India. So those who are looking for an entrepreneurship career on their own after a good quality education should seriously consider this program. The second set of people whom I think who aspire, who want to work for a multinational company, there are some opportunities in India. There may not be opportunities in India. Now, some people like to work in a different environment because it excites them. It provides them the kick that they need. It can be an Indian company, but operating in Dubai, operating in UAE. It's a totally different environment. If that is a career aspiration that you have, I think we would recommend this program to them. There are people who want to work on pure multinational companies in a very different scale, in a large setting, and in significantly complex projects. If they want to work in this kind of organization, I think we recommend this program as a gateway to do that. The last category of people that we are looking at who would like to do this program is those who value education and invest on the education, work for a well-paying job for a short duration of, let's say, 5 years, and then decide to come back to India, start something on their own. Think if your career aspiration belongs to any one of these, I think you must seriously consider taking the UAE program of IIM Indore. But what it will require, in my opinion, very clearly is the program is the program requires the individual to make choices at every stage. First choice is choice of joining the program. Second choice is your ability to find an ecosystem which suits you, your ability to find housing, your ability to find adequate infrastructure for you to integrate with the program. These are very, very innovative challenges that one individual has to face. The third, the other important dimension to be successful in this program would be an open mind to look at a different culture, an open mind to look at different nationalities, an open mind to look at different operating environment. If you have these things, an open mind to look at different culture, different operating environment, different opportunities of scale and size, then I think that person is very ideally suited to this